This video is an excerpt from our weekly podcast. Go and watch the full podcast, check the link in the description of this video, or support us on Patreon at patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. Did you see the Biomutant previews of the gameplays yesterday?
No, I haven't seen any of the gameplay, but I saw some of the character creation stuff, which was cool, but I haven't got around to watching the gameplay. And Biomutant is very, very much on my radar at the moment. I just haven't got around to watching it.
Yeah, I mean, 25th of May is when it releases, so that's a little over 2 weeks' time, maybe 3 weeks' time from today of recording. And yesterday I watched the gameplay from Game Informer. Holy hell, does that game look good? And they talk about a lot of things that, just the action itself. It's just fast-paced, like the traversal. I've already jumped in, and I wanted to preface it with a little bit something else. Last time we talked about this game, we were talking about a trailer that included like sharp edits and cuts of like 25, 30 different like cuts in like a 60-second trailer. It was probably less than that. It was like 40-odd seconds worth of trailer, and it was just like cut to one scene, cut to another scene, cut to another scene. And we didn't really give you a taste of how the game would play and how the gameplay loop would go. But having watched this, it gives you more, and I'm more interested having watched the gameplay. And we say time and time again, just don't give us these shitty trailers that don't tell you anything about how the game plays. Show us how the game plays, and then we'll get excited about it. And now I really am excited for this game. And they're talking about how a lot of what wasn't shown off in the original trailer was just the milling around, the RPG aspects, like talking with NPCs and like scavenging for supplies and stuff like that. None of that is shown in any of the trailers, and you wouldn't maybe expect that from the game, having just seen the trailers. But person who had hands-off game time with it, who was just watching someone else play it, that's essentially what that means, was likening it to a Fallout game or something, and how there were different factions that you can ally yourself with and do missions for, and maybe the game lends to multiple playthroughs because of how you can you go about interacting with the world. For an independent, they called it like a AA plus developer, whatever. Not independent because it's THQ,
Experiment
but
101. They are developing.
For a relatively unknown developer to be hitting the ground running with a game like this that looks so good, that apparently has so many different mechanics, like the fact that you've got this biomutant character that kind of changes and evolves, and you can craft it from, and there's loads of different mechanics in there which I wasn't expecting. I'm just ranting off the top of my head here. I haven't prepared no notes at all, but I'm that excited for this game now, and in 3 weeks time I probably will be a day one purchase for me. Before yesterday, it was just kind of a maybe not a wait for reviews, but having seen the gameplay and heard about first-hand experience, I'm pretty much decided I'm going to buy it.
What I really like about it, and I've kind of latched onto since I first saw it out, it was announced a couple of years ago at like an E3 or something, and then they just did a long gameplay section, and then were basically radio silent for ages. One thing I really like the look of it, it's just unapologetically fun. It's like, we've got all these cool ideas of features and odd mechanics. Let's just smash them together and just make something cool. Like right now on my screen, as I'm talking, out of nowhere, your little character rodent creature is now driving a mech. He's just marching through some burnt out apocalypse city in a mech suit. If you just look at the box art, it's a raccoon-looking thing with a sword, and you're like, okay, right. You wouldn't expect it to end up in a mech suit halfway through. It just looks cool. It's a big hack and slash Devil May Cry-esque over the top like melee combat, which is awesome. But then with this, like you say, Fallout is a common comparison between its RPG systems and how you not necessarily systems in terms of like big constant choices or anything, but you're working with different factions, and if you piss off one, that'll benefit you in another one. And I've said it 100 times before whenever I talk about it, one of the most interesting things to me is your character stats are represented physically on your character. So if you pick a strong one, he'll be huge and jacked. If you pick a brainy one, or you do it up in a slider, then his head will get bigger, and you can change the colors, and there's classes. It just looks cool. There's a bunch of cool stuff put together in one game, and I'm really excited for it.
I think this game will do really well, and part of it is the aesthetic, right? It looks very much like, for its sins, Fortnite. In the color palette, in the UI on screen. You know, if you took your character out and put like one of the Fortnite characters in as the playable character, it would very much look like Fortnite in some of the grassy areas, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can kind of see what you mean. But I think it still has a lot of its own identity. I think it looks like Biomutant.
I understand that. But I think the point I was trying to make was that given that it does look so cutesy and familiar to a lot of people, the potential, you know, it appeals to so many different age ranges. Like you'll see 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds wanting to play this because of how it looks. But then again, you'll see older gamers like, I'm 40 years old, right? And I'm really interested in this game. And it's not about how it looks; it's about how the game plays, and it looks like it plays, and the mechanics.
Oh, it's only a 12. Yeah, that's definitely gonna get a wider appeal.
Yeah, so I think this game will do really well. I think it's one of those ones that's, you know, I think it was 4 years ago it was first announced, and then it's just gone under the radar for so long. It did spark a bit of interest among a few people, not so many, but it's one of those ones that is going to come out of nowhere. And I think it's going to... I put money on this game doing really well for THQ. That's for sure.
Yeah, totally. Now that... well, I talked about it a lot, but Deathloop was my most anticipated game of this year. But since that's been booted to September, Biomutant has quickly filled that void. And fortunately, after being quiet for so long, they've increased their radio chatter for the past few weeks, dropping bits and bobs, a few interviews, some like this new gameplay. And yeah, they're definitely getting ready for it. And I'm ready for it. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah.
When's it out? 25th, I think we said.
25th, yeah. So you're talking 3 weeks.
It's on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. I don't know about next-gen stuff, but I'm sure it will be at some point.
Thanks for watching this video. If you want to go and watch the full podcast, head to the description of this video and you'll find a link to our new podcast channel, or head over to patreon.com/prettygoodgaming and get early access.